Hey guys, John V here again from PhoneArena. You're watching our in-depth video review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9. This guy's going to be available very shortly. Starts off at $469 for the 16GB version and jumps up to $569 for the 32GB one. Only Wi-Fi version. It's a smaller version of the Galaxy Tab 10.1 we checked out not too long ago. Smaller display, obviously. It still has that nice razor-thin construction. You have the TouchWiz UX experience running on top of Android 3.1 Honeycomb. So we'll see whether or not it's a decent tablet for the price. To tell the truth, the Galaxy Tab 8.9 is basically a smaller version of the Galaxy Tab 10.1, but it has smaller dimensions, obviously. The biggest standout is, of course, its razor-thin profile, 8.6mm thick or 0.35 inches thick uniformly all around, so it does stand out with its streamlined approach, but nothing new just because the Galaxy Tab 10.1 introduced us to that. It's kind of plain, to tell you the truth, its overall looks. Nothing really drastically different from what else is out there. Choice of materials are good. It has this emulates the look of a metallic finish, but in fact it is plastic, a sturdy one in fact, and we do like the fact that it repels dirt and debris really well. You could tell, you could just keep on touching it and just smudges doesn't want to stay on there, so it looks clean all the time. Good balance to it. It's constructed pretty solidly, and for the most part, it's a nice looking tablet. Sporting an 8.9-inch WXGA PLS display, we're very happy with it just because the overall quality is pretty stunning, to tell you the truth. Resolution is 1280 by 800 pixels, so when you combine that with its screen size, it produces some awesome pixel density. So you get some clear and sharp looking text, very detailed. We didn't have any problems making it out. And on top of that, the other thing that really stands out is its juicy, warm looking color production. You could tell with the tones here, the reds, the blues, very vibrant and distinctive, so it does stand out a lot. Combining its great viewing angles, it maintains its vibrancy everywhere, and we didn't have any issues using it in outdoor conditions. So overall, we're pretty happy with the display. On the bottom edge of the tablet, you have the proprietary dock port, which you could use to charge the tablet and also get video out, and you have also the left and right speakers. Meanwhile, on the top edge, you have the dedicated power button, the volume rocker, the raised, they have a good solid feel to them, 3.5mm headset jack, and the microphone. Above the display, built to the bezel, you have the front-facing 2-megapixel camera, which you could use for video chat and taking self-portraits. And finally, in the rear, you have just the 3.2-megapixel autofocus camera, single LED flash. Unfortunately, there is no SD or micro SD card slot. You could buy or purchase a separate adapter, which gains you that functionality, but nothing built in. Much like the other Honeycomb tablets we've been checking out, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 is powered by a NVIDIA Tegra 2 dual-core 1GHz processor, but this time around, we do notice some choppy tendencies with its operation. You can tell here at the home screen, still smooth for the most part, but a little bit on the choppy side. Get into the app panel, you could tell also. You could see it's not as buttery smooth as we'd like. Even worse though, when we set it to live wallpaper, things just come down to a screeching halt. We're not sure why. It could be something to do with TouchWiz being, a little bit more graphically intensive or processor intensive. It just comes to a screeching halt, and unfortunately, you do notice that it doesn't really interfere that much, but you just lose that eye candy of its smooth approach. Out of the box, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 features the TouchWiz UX experience running on top of Android 3.1 Honeycomb. We've seen this already before in the Galaxy Tab 10.1. It utilizes a lot of these live panels. They're pretty large with the widgets, but they give you a lot of information, the clock, the breaking news, the gallery, the weather. Yeah, things like your social hub, very useful. And at the bottom here, in the system bar, you could tap here, get quick access to some of these apps, such as Task Manager, the calendar, the world clock, and the nice thing about it, it layers on top of whatever you're doing, so it doesn't interfere with whatever you're trying to do, like web browsing, or if you're using a calculator, you could open that on top of it. A lot of personalization with all the widgets available with Honeycomb, and for the most part, plenty of personalization. Again, the core organizer apps hasn't changed with the Galaxy Tab 8.9. Still the same thing that we found with the Galaxy Tab 10.1 with the TouchWiz UX experience. You have things like the alarm clock there. You have also the calculator. You have the calendar, which takes advantage of the size. You could tell you could get the month, week, or day view. Again, takes advantage of the 2-panel layout here, so it's very useful. And for the most part, it's pretty much intact. So with the TouchWiz UX experience, there are a variety of different hubs available to the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9, like this one here, the Music Hub, which allows you to download and purchase songs. With Samsung's Media Hub, you could download and even purchase different movies and even television shows, and if you want, you could even rent them. And finally, there's Social Hub, which aggregates all your social networking content in one place, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and even LinkedIn. It does it all in one spot. And on top of that, you could post to multiple accounts simultaneously. Not surprisingly, the web browsing experience is pretty good with the Galaxy Tab 8.9. It's able to handle complex pages with relative ease. You could tell here, even as it's loading, you're able to interact with the website right away. Very smooth and fluid with its movements, and overall we're very satisfied just because it works so well. Both the Samsung email app and even the Gmail experience are relatively the same. They give you the two-panel interface, which is nice just because it shifts things over to the left when you're looking at specific content. Setup is a breeze, of course, no problems at all. Username and password, automatic setup. Mainly because of the smaller size that we have to work with this time around, the messaging experience can be a little bit of a challenge just because things are a little bit more cramped in the Galaxy Tab 10.1. We also don't like the fact that sometimes it just doesn't seem as responsive. It just seems to be kind of slow to keep up with us. But we do like the fact that it offers a variety of different keyboards, such as the stock Android one, the Samsung keyboard, and even the swipe one. Rather than finding the stock Honeycomb music player, we're presented with the TouchWiz one here, which is pretty bland and generic with its presentation, but it's more than functional. On the right side here, you have the album cover, the controls, and the track listing here. The audio quality is good, strong tones, but it does sound a little bit on the shrill side at the loudest volume setting. We do like the fact that it offers a bunch of different equalizer settings to better adapt to the genre of music that we're playing. Unfortunately, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 fails to play back high-definition videos like the one we have here encoded in DivX 1920 by 1080 resolution. So 1080p, it struggles to keep a good frame rate and there's a lot of choppiness to it. Of course, 720p videos fare a lot better. Running the camera app, we're presented with a well-balanced set of features, and I definitely like that. You have a good view of the viewfinder, and you can move the focus level, which is nice. On the right side, you have the shutter key, the toggle switch. On the left, some quick access to some functions, such as turning on the flash. You have the shooting modes, the timer, exposure value, and even more, and it should piece most people out there. For a tablet, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 does a good job of taking photos with its 3.2 megapixel autofocus camera, and for the most part they are sharp looking and have a lot of detail. Colors are well balanced on being on the neutral side. Indoors though, under low lighting conditions, there's a little bit of graininess, but with the LED flash it's able to illuminate the shots perfectly, so it maintains its good looking visuals. 720p video capture is mostly average with the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9, but indoors it takes a little bit turn for the worse just because there's just a lot of noise seen throughout the recording in low lighting conditions, which tends to diminish its overall details. Being a Wi-Fi only tablet, we're content with its strong output. It's able to connect to a wireless hotspot with no issues and doesn't fluctuate either. Moderately using the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9, we're able to get close to 2 days of usage out of a single charge, which mainly consists of web browsing, emailing, and of course an occasional YouTube video. We had it set to automatic brightness, so light users could expect a lot more. Meanwhile, heavy users can expect to get by at least a solid days without having to worry about battery life. So the biggest problem with the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 is its pricing. At $469, it's definitely on the expensive side, considering the fact that it's only $30 separates this from the 10.1-inch model. You lose out on the screen display size, smaller of course at 8.9 versus 10.1 inches, and it's just riddled with all this lag and slowdown with the performance here. You could tell it kind of diminishes the overall experience that we have. But besides that, it's everything that the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 has to offer with its razor-sharp looks. Pretty reasonably solid construction. Choice of materials are good, and of course a nice looking display, but just for the pricing, you're better off probably going with the Galaxy Tab 10.1. If it were priced at the lower 400s, definitely it might be a reasonable offer at that point, but right now it just doesn't seem likely. So if you'd like to learn more about the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. This is John V signing off. Thanks guys.